Good morning. I had a friend recently talk to me and wondered what happened to the rest of my kitchen video. I never finished the kitchen story. I said, yep, you're right, didn't do it. And unfortunately, when my head goes to heck, which it hasn't been very good lately, the blog thing is at the bottom of the heap, and so it's kind of been there for quite a while. And I don't know, somehow I haven't quite figured out how to do the blog more quickly and efficiently without spending hours on it. I don't know, I spend too much time and I feel like I have other things to do. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll shoot a quick video and we'll see if we can't get this on, and it will finish the story, and maybe it'll even help somebody else with their kitchen, because we had some issues we had to overcome. So anyway, got my Easter things out, and here's the little bookshelf end. And it's part of a cabinet that Dad built for me. That end right there was probably 3 feet, was a lower height, and it was the desk. And it was okay, but I don't know, didn't really use it that much. It just kind of collected stuff. So anyway, I have my Susan Branch cookbooks always there, and then I have a shelf. This is where I keep my iPad and my iPhone, and then I can charge them. They're right there by the plug-in, and we had to move that. Everything was kind of a process. And then the microwave was down on the counter there next to the wall. So that's the 6 feet of countertop that is kind of my favorite, because I never had that before, really to use like that. So, and we made the microwave, we lifted that up so I could get the coffee maker under and back, because it doesn't fit. My cabinets are low, and so it doesn't fit anywhere else, and so that was a great spot for that. And then Dad would have built that cabinet around the microwave too. And then we put glass in those cabinets, and then the one next to it, those were solid doors before, and I did glass there because I knew that's where I would have my dishes. And then the door and the drawer right there, that whole section right here is what Dad added and made new. He did a really good job. Looks awesome. So this side is the back side of the island, and I think you've kind of seen pictures of that. I kind of forget what I posted. So that iris picture, Florence had that for years. A lady, Alice Cordray from LaPorte, painted that. So that's why I've kept it. And then we come around here and I'm gonna try and show you these little problem areas. Hopefully I can tag this so in case somebody else is redoing their kitchen, because that's what I did. I went and did searches online, solutions for how to do this, and really I didn't come up with what we ended up doing. So maybe this will help somebody else. But Dad we've refaced everything, so the layout is pretty much the same. I did get an additional drawer here, there on the top, because my old stovetop stuck down in, and so there was no drawer underneath that, but this one is very narrow. So I actually gained a drawer there, and I ended up putting my silverware there. I moved it, and you'll see why here in just a second. But so I actually gained another drawer there, which is kind of nice. But anyway, here's the problem. We added 3/4 inch fronts on all this stuff, and as you can see there in the corner, there's no room. And now I forget what the designers say, but it's something like, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches, and it may be 3. It's been a little bit since I looked that up, and so I don't remember now. But that you need from the corner to the opening for your drawer, because you've got to have clearance for these poles and then the front of your drawer. Well, because what we had before was birch plywood and it was thin, and then we added 3/4 inch, and then I added these big poles on top of that. Yeah, there's no room. And so how do you get one drawer past another drawer? And it is a problem, really. So, and everything, I looked for different knobs. I looked at everything I could think of. And finally I said to Dad, okay, what if we drop the front of the door down like that? And then you make a cutout for my hand, and we pull the drawer out that way. And so that's what we did. The alternative was that we had to do something completely radically different for those 2 drawers. And I don't think it would have ever looked good. I don't think, it just would have stuck out like a sore thumb. And then it was like poles that I didn't really like, and so then to do the whole kitchen and that, didn't really want to do that either. That just didn't sound very appealing. So anyway, this is what we ended up doing. And then you'll notice there's a little notch over there on the side. Well, that's because we've got to get past this handle. And so that becomes, try and, sorry, not make you busy here, but there you go. That gets us past that handle, but it saves the drawer. And actually this was my silverware drawer, and so that's why, you know, in reality I would probably have preferred all of this stuff to be in the drawer where I have the silverware, because it's like a lot of stove, not the knives so much, but you know, the cooking and spatulas and wooden spoons and stuff would be kind of for a stovetop. But I didn't want to have to make 2 motions, because you do have to do 2 things to get this drawer open, so we just moved the silverware next to it. So that is our solution for this. And we had to do it over here too on the top one, same thing. We drop this down and we open it up. And this was actually made for silverware. My mom always kept silverware in it when she lived here, but I never have. I thought the compartments were too big, and it lent itself better to using, dividing up bulky kind of kitchen stuff, and it kept it together in one place, and I thought it was a better use of space than having all that room for, like, say, spoons or knives, where, you know, it just doesn't take, I don't have that much silverware. So I just have never used it for silverware. I've just always used it for my big utensils. So that's what we did in this corner. And there again, we notched that out because that has to go past this, this handle right here. So it's notched out again. And so it does mean you have to do 2 things, but I'm okay with that. The look of it looks fine, and I just think if we would have done anything else, I would have hated it. It just wouldn't have been right. So anyway, then we come over here. Guess what? We have another corner. And these drawers were teeny tiny. And this one, I actually did come up with a solution at one of the home centers. I went around to all their kitchen displays, opened every stinking drawer they had in, I think, every display in all the stores in Waterloo Cedar Falls. And this drawer happened to be in one of them. And so I took a picture of it and said, Dad, this is what we need to do here. And darned if he didn't rise to the challenge and come up with it. So I have this little clever corner drawer that gives the illusion of two drawers. And it takes care of, you know, most of my wraps and plastic bags and all that stuff. So, yeah, I was thrilled with that solution. That worked just fine. And it does what it needs to do, and it fills the look of what was going on there, and just awesome. So, and then down here, I've got a Lazy Susan. We've always had it. But there was always a stick right there in the center where that inner corner. There was a stick from top to bottom, and the door wasn't done like this is done. It was done differently. And I don't know, never was a fan of it. And we figured out we could take that out. And then it turned so much better after we took it out. It was like the best thing we ever did, frankly. The turntable has never turned this good in its whole life, and so that was kind of a nice surprise, and you can get in there so much better without that big wood piece that was basically a small little L shape in the corner, and then the drawers fit around that L shape. You had to open two doors, where this is a one with one of those like they make them now. So that was kind of a really nice improvement too. And then the other problem child was this little nightmare of a cupboard. And I don't know how many times we had stuff in and out of here. And you can see we've got a little interesting configuration going on here. Well, this has got a couple issues because we changed the hinges from being on the outside like the old style were, and these hinges are hidden on the inside. That means we lost space inside the door, and you wouldn't think by looking at those hinges that it would be that much. I'll kind of get down here so you can see, like those hinges. You know, that's not very much. Well, guess what? The frame for the mixer was on the cabinet, you know, the inner side of the cabinet. Yeah, it wouldn't clear those hinges. So I couldn't get the mixer out the way we had it. So that meant we had to take the whole mixer stand frame out, and then he put in, you know, a couple pieces of boards on either side to mount it on, you know, and then screwed it into the wall. So it kind of, what it did was did like a shim kind of thing. It brought it in, and so it would pass those hinges and still come out. Okay, that's great. We got that problem solved. Then I put the mixer in there, and lo and behold, I try and I pull that. Let's see if I can show you here. There's a lever here, and I grab this and see I can pull it forward, and it pulls out and up, and it doesn't come clear up to cabinet height. It's, you know, like at work height, so you can work at it. And so anyway, well, guess what? It wouldn't clear. You can see now there's a drawer in there. It wouldn't clear. There was a drawer, board here that was the frame around that drawer, and you can see kind of how what the dimensions be because of the drawer next to it. Well, it wouldn't clear that because the mixer had to go the way it's oriented right now. Because we had brought the sides of that stand, that metal frame in there, the frame that hoists this mixer up, I couldn't put my mixer north and south, which means to turn it the other direction. Right now my mixer is sitting there east and west, and before I had it north and south. Well, guess what? I can't turn the mixer north and south because we brought the frame in, so it's too narrow, the mixer won't fit. So, like I say, this was in and out, I don't know how many times, trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do here? Are we going to lose the drawer or whatever? And so this was actually our first shot. This was before we had done the other corner, and he did the cutout. And so now I have a drawer behind a door. So it was either that or I basically lost this drawer. That was kind of what the alternative was. So Dad had to cut the piece that was the framing below the drawer, and he took that out, and then we put runners. You can kind of see the boards there underneath where the runners are for the drawers. I think there's even a little piece of tape there. Looks like we left. But anyway, you pull this drawer out, and this is where I've got more, you know, like baking kinds of stuff and spatula, rubber spatulas and stuff. And so then the other thing, and I think this just happened by luck, pure luck, this drawer just barely clears that door. You see that? I mean, we're talking there. Not by much. We were just really thankful that worked. So anyway, that was the other problem cabinet, and we had parts and pieces of that mixer stand frame out, I don't know how many times, trying to get that figured out so it would clear or not, you know, work, and then just to make it so we can use it. And I didn't really want to give that up. I really didn't want to give it up because I really love that's just in there. I don't have to have it out. I don't have to lift it because the thing is like a boat anchor. It weighs a ton. And so anyway, that is that drawer. And other than that, we didn't, I guess Dad did, I didn't show this. He made sliding drawers like what they have, shelves. And he did that, not in every cabinet, but he did them in a whole bunch of them. And I love them. Oh my goodness. And most of you that have a newer kitchen have this, and so you know what I'm talking about. Those things are just wonderful. So I'm in love with them. And so other than that, I think that's pretty much what we did and how it looks, and it's pretty much done now, except for I still haven't dealt with the flooring. That's mainly because I haven't decided what I want to do. And the other thing I haven't done is the lighting. Oh, and Jeff just did my hood. That's our old hood. We didn't get a new one. He painted it. And I don't know that you would ever know that it wasn't the brand new one. And it blends in with like the microwave and the stove just fine. And so anyway, I guess I could show you my little decorations up here since I've got we're right here just for fun. The light is kind of washing out those colors. Just a second, let me turn the light off. Excuse me. See if that makes any difference. Yeah, it does. There's enough light in here. It looks fine. So anyway, there's a few of my favorite Easter things. Some I bought at sales or gifts. Many of the things I've made. Most of the stuff I've had for years. So, and then Jeff did put a new light for me in over here, up there, and that soffit didn't have any light, and oh my goodness, that has made such a huge difference. We both, he's like, he couldn't get over what a difference that made. So, and we still, I don't know, we may do a little bit of lighting underneath the counter, or underneath the cupboards, you know, like a countertop that goes underneath. We haven't decided about that, but, and then my hubby did the crown molding. And I wanted more of a crown molding, and we couldn't have very big because we didn't have enough room, you know, we couldn't have a huge one, but it just kind of dresses it up. And for never doing it before, we did it one weekend, he and I, and it wasn't the easiest thing we ever did, but we got it done, and actually it looks pretty good. Even he did that around that little corner of that cupboard. Looks awesome. I was so proud of him. So anyway, I do have, let's see here, I'll got Easter things up in there. A few. That's really not a very good spot for those eggs because you can't see the eggs. They're all stitched. They're gorgeous. But let's see here, what else can I show you? Oh, I can show you the little tree. It's not so little, but that's all right. I've put a tree up for, I don't know how many years. The kids were small when I started doing it. And I just would leave one up all year round, and then I'd change it with the seasons, and then people knew that I did that, so people would give me little gifts to hang on it. My grandma would make me things, and I would make things, and so I've got some really fun cross stitch and even glass or 11. I have a thing for carrots. I don't know what the deal is with me and carrots, but I've been getting carrots lately. That little egg I just did, I don't know, a year or two ago. I think I did a blog posting on that. You'd have to go back and look, do a search on Easter, and it would come up, I'm sure. Those are just little flower, and I die cut the flowers. Scrap felt. So, oh, and I'll show you the one more thing, and then we'll be done. This is, well, I did this basket several years ago. I'm pretty sure Jeff's Uncle Tank brought that to me one day. He really liked, I don't know, he liked that I liked old things, and he would come visit me every once in a while in his later years of life, and he brought this to me. And usually he brought me something, and so he brought me this. So, and I believe they're cemetery baskets. I think they used to use them like on Memorial Day and put flowers in them and then take them to the graves. So I'm sure that was something that he and Aunt Jean had. So anyway, here's, I'm just going to show you this little paper carrot. Those of you that saw my Facebook, I made them for the LaPorte City Gals. It's a little box, and I can't open it, but it opens there at the green end, and you can put candy and treats in it. And did it on my Cricut. It was kind of a hoot. And then I've got, that's a little, you can't really see it under there, but the little lace under there is a picture of a bunny. It's there. There you can see it. Did that a few years ago. And I know that stuff, it really isn't in style. Frankly, don't care. I'm not big into what's the latest and greatest most of the time. And I like what I like. And I don't care what they're doing other places. So anyway, so that's my kitchen, and like I say, it is pretty much done and usable and functional, has been for quite a while. Love my countertops, and love my 6 feet of cupboard space that I didn't have. That has been wonderful. Like when we had the family here, it's really nice to have that extra room to put out desserts or salads or drinks or whatever you want to do, and just really is nice. So eventually I'll figure out the flooring, and we'll go from there. So bye for now.